Ooh, it's warm in here. Oh, it's so hot in the car, but I don't want to start it. It will be too loud, and then you won't be able to hear my brilliance. No, um, I actually do have chicken pot pie soup. Yes. It's a little hot right now, but I have to take a longer lunch because I stayed a little late a few days this week. So I'm gonna just chill out in the car for a few and go over some ponderings. So, I don't always watch Joe Rogan, but he had some lady on, and I saw some clips, and she was talking about the super substrate. This the alternate dimension energy that surrounds us all, and sometimes perhaps entities can poke through and speak to us, certain energies, and that this is the beginning of all religions, of all UFO contacts, and people being inspired to do things sometimes, like scientists and inventors and whatever. There's like a surge of energy, like an electric shock that comes from the super substrate and hits somebody, and then they all of a sudden are doing interesting, crazy things. And without it, society might not have built the way it was, might not have advanced in the ways that it has. And how she's explaining it in a weird way. So she said, what's the guy's name? Something Keel. Michael, hold on. What's the guy's name? See, now I can't think of it. John A. Keel? Maybe that's his name. I'll have to look it up again. I just started listening to the stuff that, well, he wrote the Mothman prophecies. So look that up. And he had this book called The Eighth Tower. So I've been, listening to the audiobook of that the past couple of days. And it's very interesting because, his is kind of correct in the fact that whatever is happening with this weird communication that's coming to humans through the super substrate, it is like, it's almost, it might be an evil, it might be a depth inside of us, the super substrate that we hi, how you doing, Izzy the goat? I'm eating lunch. Oh, it's hot. But this idea of the super substrate and the fact that some people can peer into it, or sometimes it can peer into us and give us certain information, I completely agree with that, because I myself, even without doing psychedelics, just having deep thoughts or having doing meditations on certain things, have had certain visions or certain ideas that really seem like they come from nowhere, but they may be coming from this super substrate. I've also had some experience in possibly doing spells or curses on people, which may have worked, may have influenced some things to happen, possibly, but I truly do believe that, because the part of this Eighth Tower book was talking about that, and how using these powers, they'll give you something, but then they get something back. Eventually, they kind of enact a revenge upon you. And I really feel that happened to me when I started messing around with that kind of stuff. I haven't really done it any since. But even before any of this online stuff, when COVID was going and we were looking for a house, I remember kind of trying to do like a spell to get our house. Like I literally had a model that I made of like where the house was and certain landmarks, and I remember I was like listening to music that my band had made, singing to it. I was smoking, so I had something burning. I had I had music in the air that I had made, right? And I was also sort of like trying to induce the energies of the universe or whatever to help me get this house. It was like, this is the only thing I want, this is what we need, this and that. And I had like a picture of the house with me and all this weird stuff, and lo and behold, we got the house, and we were there was like 4 or 5 different, maybe 3, 4 different people that were trying to buy the house at the time, and we got it. I mean, also my wife wrote a letter to them and this and that, and maybe the fact that we had 3 kids helped. I don't know, but you know, maybe I, on the other end of that, paid for using those energies for that reason, because after that, I got very, very depressed. I mean, there was a lot of other things going on, but I wonder if that was part of it. You really good guy. Hey, thanks for that. You can tell I'm a really good guy just by what I'm talking about. So I do think it's a dangerous thing to start going into the occult and the esoteric knowledge without knowing that it's possible it could exact revenge upon you, or it could take something from you. You might have to sacrifice something. I'm a fan. Cool. Nana Skirtlad ZE379. Hi, I just joined the live. What are we doing? I'm just eating lunch, and I'm just spouting about, I think his name is John A. Keel, this writer who talks about the super substrate and how all religions and most UFO contacts may come from this energy dimension that surrounds us that we can't really see, we can't really feel, but every once in a while something can poke through it. Or the way that you're thinking can see into it every once in a while. That's really interesting, because I've had, like I said, I saw lights when I was a kid. Orbs up at my grandparents' house in Maine late at night. And in a way, it did sort of make me believe or realize that perhaps there were things beyond our science that we can't explain. You're my favorite streamer right now. Thanks. What am I having for lunch? Chicken pot pie soup. Yes, it's a little hot right now, but it's good in there. I have an extra long lunch today because a couple days at work I stayed a little late. There were customers that showed up late that I had to help and this and that. So I probably have an extra 20 minutes maybe. I might not take that long, but I mean, what time is it? I don't even know. Hold on. What does it say? Okay, yeah, maybe about 10 more minutes I'll go, and then I'll have to go back inside. But no, it's interesting how, you know, I'm listening to this Eighth Tower book, and it's talking about how there are certain ideas that have been expressed to people throughout the centuries at different times, the same sorts of ideas, but long ago, they might not have been published. The information might not have made it. The books might have been burned, or they might be in a secret vault somewhere that no one's letting anyone else know. And I know that to be a fact because there are certain ideas and certain concepts that I've had over the years that I've written down, where all of a sudden I start reading a book, like a weird book, not your normal kinds of books. There was this ancient-text.org, ancient-text.org. I'll have to find the site again, where it's got all these old books that have been translated. And I started reading some of them, and I realized that some of the ideas that these people were talking about are the same ideas that I've had, but I didn't get them from anywhere. They just sort of came to me. So I was like, wow, that's so weird how someone 400 years ago or 800 years ago had the same sort of ideas that I'm having and felt the same things that I'm feeling and expressed it in the way that I expressed it. That's so strange. How is that even possible? You know, I mean, people way back then were smart. They just weren't as educated as we are, I guess. But actually, maybe the rich people were even more educated. I don't know. What do you do for your work? Sounds yummy. In my time zone, I just have dinner. What do I do for work? I get orders for people from a place that sells materials for building. Let's just say that. Okay. I'm sweaty. I deal with a lot of sheetrock, actually, but there's other things. But you know, that's kind of my main job. Picking big pieces of sheetrock, big orders, and also bags of plaster and tape and things like that, making up pallets and making up packs of stuff. Anyway, you know, and on day, it's supposed to rain on Monday, so everything I'm picking for Monday, I have to wrap in plastic. It takes like 3 times as long to do it because now I've got to make sure that it's not going to get wet when it's sitting outside and so on and so forth. So it's one of those. It's just one of those days, and it rained a couple days, other days this week. Today it's nice and sunny. It's great, but unfortunately, I had starting on Monday, I had certain jobs that were going on Wednesday and Thursday, I had to wrap in plastic. So it's been a long week for me. And it's funny because when it's rainy like this, I'm super busy, but some of the other guys that work here aren't as busy because not as many people are coming to get stuff in the rain. There was a lot of weirdos on streams. Yes, there are. I mean, I'm a weirdo, but I started realizing today I consider myself a weirdo, but I'm also looking at it from a perspective of the fact that my father was in the military, so compared to military kids, I'm a weirdo, but I'm like a nerd weirdo. I'm not like that. Regular, like, civilian people, they're some weirdos. They're some real weirdos, man. I'm just like, I'm like a smart, nerdy weirdo, even though I have a blue-collar job because, I made certain choices, but, there are some, like, out there weirdos. I mean, I think they're just freaks. Anyway, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of weirdos on stream. Oh, this is so good now. It's not so hot. No, you're built different. I'm built different. Oh, yeah. It's true. And I also started thinking about the fact that, I saw lights when I was younger, and it gave me this idea of, oh, wow, there's more out there. But also, I think one of the most formative things that happened to me when I was young was when I was about 6 or 7, and the neighbor kid, spilled the beans on Santa Claus. And I took it hard. Took it really hard. And I actually remember being, mad at my parents for, oh, these people, they lied to me my entire life. But I feel like it was a moment where I started to realize, oh, yeah, question everything. Just because someone says something and a lot of people believe something does not mean that it's right. Thanks, I'm the best. Thanks, Nana. What are you, my real Nana? You're the best. You're wonderful. Oh, that's the other thing. That's one of the things I realized as a child, when I was doing singing or, acting or anything like that. And my parents would be like, oh my God. I used to be like, oh yeah, they're my parents. They're kind of supposed to encourage me, but are they really, here I am being like, oh man, they supported me. It was terrible, but I wanted real feedback. I wanted to no, am I actually good? Or are you just saying this because you're kind of supposed to? You were told by Dr. Spock that you're supposed to do this. And even people's friends and, they sometimes often are just like, no, you're good. Oh, it's so great that you're doing a thing. But are they really a fan, or are they just supporting you because they blind support? Because I've seen a lot of people online who get blind support, but they suck. And when you live your life like that, you get all this blind support. That's no way to improve. You're never going to improve with that. It's almost better to get criticized to the point of almost quitting, because then you either level up or you change up, you pivot, things like that. It's great to be nice to people, but we also have to be real with people. And that's why I kind of see through that kind of, I've been able to see through that kind of thing my entire life. I don't just take, and yes, I can take a compliment, but I also take every compliment with a grain of salt, just like I take every opinion with a grain of salt. There could be, I don't know how many times I've heard someone talk about a movie or music or an art piece, and they say certain things, and then I experience it for myself, and I go, what are they talking about? But they sounded like they knew exactly what they were talking about. They sounded like, they're very convincing and whatever. And you go, well, are they just stupid, or they just have, people just have a certain perspective, and I just have a different perspective, I guess. So, that's why it's like, there's a whole industry of people reviewing things, and it's like, thanks, but no thanks. Because I don't think, there's preconceived notions of things. There's people who are into a certain genre, and then when they review things in that genre, they're expecting certain things. And it's like, dude, just take everything on a one-to-one basis, on an individual basis. That's kind of how you have to do it. So, like I said, me getting upset at my parents for lying to me actually opened up my mind to the fact that, oh, wait a minute. Not all information is real or truth, or it might just be programmed. It might just be, hey, everyone else is doing it, so I guess I have to do it too because I have to live in a society. I love my porridge chilled. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hot. It's still a little hot. But, it's like you got to heat it up out of the can to the point where, kills all the whatever. Oh, I don't know if there's anything in it, but I might actually have to, put this down and eat it later, because I think my break is over. But yeah, nice talking to y'all. Follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I may go live later in my studio in the basement. I'm starting to formulate some stuff to complain about. I do a show called The Complaint Lodge. It's a clever name, Lodge Complaint Lodge. I mean, come on, it's just fucking, it's wonderful. All right. Where I might, maybe I'll play some AI songs I've made, some videos, this and that. I'll think of something. I'll think of something. I'll probably even do a driving stream on the way home. Why not? I'm trying to get to 250. I said at the beginning of the month I wanted to get 250 subs. 250 subs by the end of the month. I don't think it's going to happen. But who knows? You never know. Subscribe. Later. Nice talking to y'all.